guys, Matt here at Brewery. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and happy St. Patty's Day. Don't actually have an Irish Stout around, so I'm going to just go into this. I'm going to go commercial this time. You guys have all heard me talk about the stuff I have on tap. I got the Tipsy Smurf. I have the Femme Fatale, which is a double chocolate cherry stout, and then Four Poured, which is my pale ale. But I got a bunch of stuff I picked up the other day, so I want to try these out. This is from Edmund's Oast Brewery. It's a sour Concord grape. They're out of Charleston, South Carolina. It's a new bottle shop that I talked about in my last Homebrew Wednesday, I think. This is one of the ones I picked up out of there. I love the color on some of these sours, man. Really cool. Oh, that's not... It almost all fit in there, actually. I'm surprised. I didn't think that was that big of a glass. Yeah, look at that. Nice red color. Like a deep pink. This is the grape. Smells like grape juice, actually. Nice. Cheers. It's pretty good. Got a nice grape taste to it. Nice sour. Actually, it's probably not as sour as the other one I had over there. It was like a blueberry mango. That was a little bit more sour than this. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so got a couple updates. I'm going on vacation next week, so this will be the last one from here, at least for now. Change of scenery, because we're supposed to get some tornadoes tomorrow. Yay. There's a nasty bunch of storms coming through the south. I think it's in the Alabama, Missouri area right now, Missouri, whatever you want to call it. On its way through Georgia, so Nate, look out, man. I think it's coming your way too. And I think, I think it's supposed to hit our area by like lunchtime tomorrow, so it should be fun. We get tornadoes here. We seem to get a tornado here every year, but they're never anything like really, anything to write home about. Just like an EF0, maybe an EF1 at the most. We might see some houses with like a piece of siding missing or something like that, or somebody's grill got tossed around in the yard. We got our trampoline, pretty well staked in. We got everything put away. I did that today. I made sure to put everything away in the shed, put whatever else I could in the garage. That's the part of the reason why we have a bit of a change of scenery here in the kitchen today, because the garage is a bit full and a little bit in disarray, just putting everything, just kind of threw everything in there so that nothing got blown around tomorrow, just in the off chance that I don't get up early enough. I am changing my schedule because we're going to Disney next week, and yeah, can't really do that at night. So I mean, you can, but kind of defeats the purpose if you sleep all day in Disney and only up for the nighttime. So changing my schedule probably today and tomorrow, so I'm good for the weekend for the drive and good to go for down there. So harvested a bunch of yeast. Actually, I'm going to talk about something else too, why I did that. L17 harvest. I pulled this out of the fermenter yesterday. This is from the IPL that Gary and I are doing. I'll have a video out for that here shortly. We're kind of kicking around some ideas for a name. I actually like the idea of doing a kind of a take on the Harlequin name, the Harlequin hops that's made out of. So I was going to do something like Motley Brew, but I think that name's been taken by a commercial. So we'll see. We'll see if I decide to go with that or not. I mean, hell, I'm not going to publicize this in any way or monetize this in any way, so probably doesn't really matter. I'll say here's the Berserker. The Berserker I made the mistake of not saving some before I threw it into that sour that I did. So the Berserker turned like a nice, like sort of like a purple color. I've ran it through a starter to clean up the color, so it's looking a lot better now. That's the harvest. This is the Juggernaut. It's not quite. It's about done. It's almost all dropped out now. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that into a jar at some point here, probably tomorrow actually. But I want to talk about something else a little bit special today. I found this. I've been thinking about making small batches again, because what got me thinking about that was that 4-port. That's a recipe I've been trying to perfect over the last couple of years. I haven't brewed it a lot, but when I have, like, okay, I want it to be a little bit more citrusy. I'm trying to get like 4 to 5 different fruits out of it. It's supposed to be like a 5 Live beer, so I'm trying to get that orangey, that lemon lime, that grapefruit, all those different things going on in there, and it feels to me it's good. It's a great pale ale, but it feels to me like I'm missing the mark of what I expect it to be. So what I was thinking of doing is making small batches. So what got me thinking about that was I was seeing Man Beer Cave doing the Mr. Beer Kit, and I was like, you know what? I got the beer machine. This is what started this whole thing for me. You know, back in 2011, I got this thing. It was a gift given to me for Christmas one year by a friend. I probably used it like 5 times before I moved on to extract and then eventually to all grain. Get this out of the way. But this thing is really cool. And it made decent beer. It wasn't anything to write home about. I mean, it was just like an extract kit. You kind of dumped it in here, put the water in, put the yeast, and it was cool. It holds about 2 gallons. And actually, it's got the gauges on the top there. Believe it or not, it pressure ferments too. Talk about ahead of its time. I would have never thought that I'd be doing anything like that, you know, today with the whole pressure fermenting. But the gauge on this will go up to anywhere between 10 and 15 psi. That's the green zone. Beyond that, it's red. From 15 to 30, it goes to red. It's got a temperature on there, and it's got that. So I mean, man, who would have thought back in 2011 when I bought this thing that I would be thinking about using it in this way, you know, years later. But it's pretty cool. It's really easy to, you know, take apart, store. I remember, you know, I had a bunch of extra parts for it. It's got a tap that goes on the front of it, so you can actually serve straight out of there. It does have a floating dip tube somewhere in here amongst all these spare parts. Has a CO2 canister, you know, that you can stick here. You put those little CO2 canisters inside of here. Matter of fact, here they are here. They're the little what do you call it? Little what are those things even called? CO2 canisters, I guess they're called. Mr. Fizz. I don't know. Oh, a cartridge, I guess. That's what they're called on the box. I don't even know if these are. I'm assuming they're still good. But yeah, they're just like these little things you stick in there and shoot it with some CO2, and you can serve straight out of the keg, which is really cool. Or the, you know, keg. I got a whole bunch of extra stuff. I even got some PET bottles in here that you're supposed to, you know, if you wanted to bottle from it, because it's got an attachment in here for bottling it. Yeah, here's the floating dip tube. I mean, talk about, I just, you know, I would not have thought about it back then. I didn't think too much of it. It was just a kit. I just sort of stuck everything in there and let it rip. But I would have never thought that, you know, some of the stuff that you guys are talking about today, with the pressure fermenting and the closed transferings that we've been doing lately, and some of the newish things that I've, you know, really heard more about these days. Who would have thought that, you know, here we are, what, 10 years later since I bought it, that I'd actually be thinking about using it in that way. So that's pretty cool. But I already had this. This is a 1 gallon container, and I made this starter from here. Kind of took a page out of Dennis's book. I'm just kind of putting all this together and thinking about this. I thought this would be a neat little thing. Make a small batch of, like, say, that 4-quart beer. Try it out, and if it doesn't work out, dump it, try again. You know, I'm okay with wasting a gallon of beer than I am to do the whole thing on the 5 gallon. But I bought these paint strainers. This is a 1 gallon. It actually fits in there perfectly all the way to the bottom, and the elastic goes right on there. Really, really cool. That works out really well. But, so I already had this. I decided to go out when I was picking up those paint strainers. I found this. It's a slightly bigger one. This is a 2 gallon. And I, of course, bought the bigger strainer. These are 5 gallon bags, because they don't do a 2. It went from 1 to 5. And the 2 gallon actually has a spigot on it, so that's kind of neat. Can sort of do the old school mash tun in the cooler with this, probably, with this spout. Might have to play around with that. But this is if I wanted to make a slightly bigger beer that wouldn't fit in that 1 gallon. That 1 gallon would probably work out well for most beers in that beer machine, I would guess. But just in case, I bought the bigger one for higher grain bills. Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to resurrect this again. I'm going to clean it up real nice and probably start messing around with it when I get back from vacation. Really cool. I did enjoy playing around with this thing years ago. Yeah, we'll mess around with that again. Well, that's really it. I don't really have anything else for you guys. Next week, if I have a chance, depending on what we're doing Wednesday, I might cam up and do an impromptu Homebrew Wednesday from Disney, just to kind of check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing. But that's really it. We got the Brew Tubers. We have the experiments coming up. We have the Drop Kvike Nate. That's the first one in the line. Probably, let's see. I believe that one is due at the end of April. So probably shortly after I get back, I'll be looking to start brewing that. I do want to kind of wait a little bit to make sure that it gets done and is fresh for when it gets shipped out, because that's one of those beers. Dropkick Nate is a really nice beer to have when it's fresh. But yeah, with that, I hope everybody had a great St. Patty's Day today. I hope everybody has a happy Homebrew Wednesday, what's left of it. And we'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Cheers. Have a good night.